anticipates our success. You know, every time, and I believe in the spirit realm, when the angelic activity starts picking up, and God starts sending his angels on behalf of his saints, I believe the enemy sees those angels coming and going. Now, he doesn't know what they're all about or where they're going or why they're going, but he knows they're going. And I believe every time he sees that angelic activity pick up, he starts attacking and trying to stir up to see if he can't stop whatever, but he doesn't know what he's attacking yet. So we see the activity, we see that it's happening. The church is purifying itself. Jesus is coming back for a church without spot or wrinkle. He's coming back for a church that has prepared herself as a bride. He's coming back for a church that is going to be victorious, not a church that's running around in the mud. So as the church has been purifying itself and preparing itself, as the church has been falling in love with Jesus, you know, we have seen over the last 10, 15 years maybe, where the new move of the Spirit that swept through the churches and people, you know, ended up doing sometimes strange and unusual things, and you're going, what's going on? These were times of refreshing from the Father's throne. These were times that were sent just to allow the church to fall in love with Jesus all over again. Because sometimes the church has a tendency to get cooled off a bit. It has a tendency to get hardened up a little bit. And sometimes we need to return to our first love. And when that happens, the church starts putting off the stuff. We start putting off the battles and the divisions and the fighting among ourselves. We start putting off the name callings. And you know, we start looking at Jesus, the author and the finisher of our faith, rather than our brothers and sisters. Now, when that happens, something takes place in the realm of authority in the church. As the church starts purifying itself, becoming who it's called to be, it starts walking in greater authority, and right away you're going to see the enemy is being alerted because something is changing again. So the battle comes, he tries to stop it, he anticipates that something is happening, he anticipates the success, and he's going to try and stop it. Well, as the church takes its place as being and ruling and reigning through Christ, there's different things that happen. Now, sometimes I really believe that the enemy has a stronger belief in the church becoming an overcomer than the church does. He knows the power that's in the church better than the church does often. And as the church starts coming together in unity, starts coming together in love, the power is released, and he has to bring attacks. Well, you don't have to look very far in this world to see a desperate need for peace. In just over a year, we have seen major earthquakes in Haiti, Chile, China, New Zealand, and Japan. That's just over a year. Major earthquakes. Well, the Bible says that all of creation is groaning, waiting for the revelation of the sons. Tsunami waves have killed thousands. Maybe hundreds of thousands, I don't know. There have been floods on both the east and the west coasts, which destroyed houses, roads, and infrastructure, and brought death. We've had snowstorms around the world in unusual places that have shut down airports, shut down travel, shut down just about everything. I know I was watching on the news that one evening, and I was just laughing. I was talking to Pastor Jerry. He says, look at this. They have 3 inches of snow, and they can't move in London. 3 inches of snow, we would laugh if that was our... And they're immobilized. The entire country, the airplanes were shut down. They couldn't leave. They wouldn't allow flights in. They had too much snow. There was 3 inches of snow. Yeah, and? But it's just the type of thing when these things happen in places where it's not supposed to happen that ends up causing havoc. While we were in Mexico, we heard reports about how they had snow in California, how people were dying because of the extreme cold. +8. And we're going, yeah, okay. what's happening? We don't have to look very far, and we start seeing that there's all of these things are going on, which is showing the lack of peace. Well, I believe a lot of what they're showing is the fact that the church is starting to wake up. And now the attacks are coming to try and stop, because Jesus has given authority to the church to speak to these things and to cause them to cease and to desist. The economy is still struggling to regain its balance. The American dollar is down. The president has lost his power. Canadian economic indicators are cautiously optimistic as we head for an election. This is not common for governments to be brought down through votes of no confidence. It's happened before, but it's not common. And we start going, okay, so what's happening? The turmoil around us is mind-boggling. We were talking about that just this morning. He says, one of the things that happens, even with the old election system starting up in Canada again, that's the time where the leaders of this country start calling names and start looking for dirt and start doing all of those things. What happens is there's something is released upon the country, and the church needs to stand against that and say, no, we're not partaking of that. We're not getting involved in calling names. We're not getting involved in trying to bring dissension and division. We will continue to work together. We will continue to pray together and ask God to heal our land. But it's going to take a church that's willing to get on its knees. The lack of peace is being spread. The lack of peace is trying to attack. The turmoil is mind-boggling, and it seems every time you turn on the news, you're going to hear about more tragedies that are taking place somewhere. At the same time, we live at a time where we have more conveniences and more luxuries than we have ever had before. We live at a time of plenty. We have instruments, we have appliances that are designed to save us time as well as make our lives easier. All we have to do is push a button and things get done. You throw something in the microwave, you push a few buttons, and you come back a little bit later and it's hot. And we go, We complain in the fast food lineup if we have to wait for 2 minutes for a burger. I thought this was the fast food. Well, there was a time where you used to have to go out and catch a cow. That was slow food. The only fast part was how fast Bessie was when you came after her. We have everything that's designed to make our life easier while the whole world is going crazy, it seems like. With all of these modern time-saving conveniences, you would think that we would have more time than ever to be involved in the things that are important to us. As a people, we would have more time now than we ever did because everything has become so much easier than it used to be. Like I said, food in 2 minutes, you can eat if you want. Cleaning the house. You vacuum the carpet. You don't have to pull that thing up and go hang it over a line and then find the beater and go beat on it for half an hour. You run the vacuum over it now. Do a load of laundry. Well, go out and thaw some snow and then put it on the top of the stove and let the water heat up. Once the water's hot, then fill the machine and then throw in your whites first. Then you got to pull it out of there and you got to run it through the Mongol. Hope you don't get your hand stuck. Oh, but now you have to rinse them all again so everything gets wet again. This wasn't an easy job. It was an all-day job and it was labor-intensive. Somebody had to stand there to make sure that it was being done. We don't do that anymore. You go throw a load of laundry in, you add your soap and you whatever, push a few buttons and walk away. You come back an hour later and magically everything has been done. All you have to do is move it over to the dryer and push a button now. You don't have to hang this thing in a basket and then take it out to the line and in the middle of the winter when it's freezing and there's icicles, try and hang it up on a line as the wind is howling around your ankles. We have so much more time, you would think. We should have the time now that we can spend with our families, that we can spend doing the things that are important to us. We have had all these time-saving events. We should have more time than we have ever had to give ourselves to doing the things that we enjoy.